Today I thought I'd look back on all the movies that I saw in theaters in 2025. This is specifically in theaters, primarily with my AMC A-list. Shout out to you, Nicole, Kidman. Shout out to my AMC A-listers. You know, you get your bang for your buck with this movie membership. It's going to be a quick rapid fire, sound off. I'm not going to go too in depth with each movie. I'm going to say what the movie was when I watched it and what it's about, briefly if I can remember, and where I landed on if I liked it or if I didn't like it. All right, okay. First movie I saw in 2025, A Complete Unknown with Timmy C portraying Bob Dylan. I wasn't really familiar with Bob Dylan's discography, so I kind of went into it really not knowing anything about him, but also like a lot of people didn't know much about him. He was an enigma of sorts, but I like Timothy Chalamet's performance in it. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think I started the year and ended the year with a Timothy Chalamet movie, which is crazy if you think about it. Timmy C, you're in fact. It's definitely another notch in Timothy Chalamet's belt in terms of great performances, so shout out to him. The other movie I saw that day was September 5th. It was a depiction of the Munich's Olympics hostage situation back in 1972. Now, this one I really didn't know anything about. The title just intrigued me because it was September 5th, and as a September-born Virgo, I was like, oh, a movie with my birthday month in it, so let me just go. And so I went in completely blind. I didn't know anything really about the historical events that it's based on, but I actually found myself really liking it a lot because it was detailing how an ABC sports team that was there to cover the Olympics ended up having to cover the hostage situation that was going on in the area at the time, and it was really good. I like seeing the inner workings of having to get permission to who's going to record this or who's going to do this, and then obviously the dangerous element of people being held hostage and is going to make it out or not. And the ending was very gripping, and it was true to real life events for the most part. And I just like seeing that. It was definitely one of those movies that made me want to go like read up on the Wikipedia page after to see like what really went down. So that was a really good movie as well. On January 17th, I saw One of Them Days with Keke Palmer and SZA. Oh my God, why did that chicken cough? So bad. In 2026, I'm going to be honest, I really didn't like it that much. I thought SZA was great. I thought her performance was great for a new actress. Keke Palmer was good as usual, but overall, I just was kind of like middle of the road with it, but it was good for what it was. So shout out to that movie. And then on top of that movie, I did a double feature that day. I also saw Wolfman, and that one had Julia Garner in it, and then also this other guy who was in Poor Things. Mr. Abbott's dad had passed away, and he kind of lived in solitude up in the woods or whatever. So they had to go to pack up his house, and then somewhere along the world, they get attacked by this creature, and it starts transforming the father into a wolf man. And then it was up to Julia Garner and the kids to try to get away from him and survive the night or whatever. I liked it. I didn't love it. It was an interesting depiction. I think it was supposed to be part of that whole monster universe of Wolfman, Frankenstein, the Mummy, all that stuff. I liked it. It was cool. It definitely touched on themes of like generational trauma and father-son relationships and all that stuff. It wasn't, but I don't think it completely hit the mark in terms of what they're going for, but I thought the performance was good, and I thought it was an interesting way of telling this. Next up in February, I only saw 2 movies, surprisingly. It must have been a busy month for me, I don't even remember, but February 6th, I saw Den of Thieves 2 Pantera, which is a sequel to Den of Thieves, and I actually like this one a lot. If I recall, this is the one with Gerard Butler and O'Shea Jackson Jr., and like I said, it's a sequel, and I think this time they're in Europe, and they're trying to do like a jewelry diamond heist, so there's a lot of things that go into that, and I definitely wasn't expecting the end. Yeah, I wasn't expecting the end, and I'm interested to see where it goes if there's a third one. But I like this whole franchise of like heist movies. The other movie I saw on February was on Valentine's Day, February 14th. I saw this with some coworkers. I was Captain America: Brave New World. MCU is in the garbage for me right now, so this movie didn't do anything for me. I obviously want to support seeing a black Captain America. But it just didn't work for me in any kind of way, so we're just gonna move right on.
Clap if you care. All right, let's move on.
I started March off with a double feature because I love going, like usually when I go to the movies, I try to see at least 2 movies, maybe 3 if I'm pushing it and I have a lot of time. I rarely go for just one movie. So in March 2nd, I saw The Monkey, and that was the one with the monkey that was kind of like evil, and it kind of just led to all these like people being died in the most gruesomest of ways. And it was interesting when I was looking at the backstory. Osgood Perkins, he was that weird, quiet guy in Legally Blonde at Ellis Law School, which is kind of a crazy connection, but apparently his parents died in a strange way, so he was kind of like imbuing his real life experiences into this, but it didn't really work for me that much. So yeah, and then I also saw Companion, which I really, really enjoyed. This one had the girl from Yellow Jackets in it that I didn't know it was her at the time that I watched it. And I love when I'm surprised by seeing actors and actresses in movies and me not recognizing them. I look at that range, look at that transformation. Sophia Thatcher. Yeah, Sophia Thatcher from Yellow Jackets. So she was the lead in this one. She was playing this AI robot of sorts, and Jack Quaid was her partner, so to speak, and hijinks ensue. I love the plot twist in this one, and I just loved it. It was kind of like an action thriller comedy of sorts, rom-com turned horror pretty much. But I like this one a lot, and this was a cute like Valentine's Day time movie. I definitely recommend you circling back to go see this one if you haven't already. I think it's on Prime Video. Moving on March 7th, I saw Mickey 17 with Robert Pattinson. This one I actually liked. I only saw it once, and I was kind of sleepy. I might have fallen asleep at a few parts, not because I wasn't liking the movie, but I was just tired. But I saw the majority of it, and I really liked it. I liked the sci-fi dystopian world type elements that it had. It's from Bong Joon-ho, who made Parasite and Snowpiercer and some other things. I liked the character of Mickey and his narration and voiceover kind of depicting the whole story or whatever, and what he was having to do in this movie over and over and over and over again. I love the twin element or the clone element at one point. And yeah, I like this one. I like Robert Pattinson as an actor. And I like some of the choices that he makes when it comes to his movie. So I like this movie. This is definitely one that I would see myself rewatching if I ever have time to ever rewatch any movie that I see, because there's ever so much stuff coming at us every single day. March 27th, I saw Snow White with Rachel Zegler and the other lady. Disney Snow White. And it was just what we were all expecting. It wasn't good in any way, shape, or form. And it's kind of sad because there are a few of the Disney live actions that I've actually enjoyed. I think the Cinderella one, which was the first one I liked. And then, which other ones have come out that I kind of liked? Ooh, I can't even remember any. Oh, The Little Mermaid, obviously, with Halle Bailey. Chef's kiss. And I'm trying to think if there's another one that I like. Maleficent, I don't know if that kind of falls into it because she's a villain. But yeah, Snow White was just, it didn't do anything for me. Obviously, Rachel Zegler is a very talented singer, and I liked her in Battles of Songbirds and Snakes. But this performance and this whole depiction really didn't do it for me. I really didn't like that they didn't use real dwarves, or they used CGI dwarves and then added those other characters as well. And obviously Gal Gadot's performance was not good in this at all. Enough champagne to fill the Nile. Wrong movie, but I just think of that, a montage of people recreating all of her horrible scenes in a lot of different movies. So yeah, Cal, no. Okay, done. Moving on. Not a good movie. The other movie I saw that day in addition to Snow White for my double feature was The Woman in the Yard. Now the trailer for this one, every time I saw it, it had such a creepy element to it. And the woman in the yard would be like, it's time, or something like that. And then her shadow would come and cover the whole entire house. And I was like, what is this movie about? What does this woman want? Why is this woman torturing this black family? It starred Danielle Deadweiler, who was been in a lot of other stuff that I really enjoyed. And yeah, overall, once I watched the movie, I was like, this is interesting. And slowly, as things started to happen, I was like, is this movie what I think it is? And is The Woman in the Yard representing something that I think it is? And it ended up kind of leading to that direction or whatever. So I said, oh, that's interesting. But it was an interesting movie, and I'm gonna say I liked it. It was unique, it was creative, and I'm all for that. So yeah. Okay, moving on. I felt like I saw this such a long time ago, but moving on to April, I started the month off with watching Hell of a Summer on April 6th. Now this movie was the one that I believe was produced by Finn Wolfhard, and it had that whole cast of young actors, some new, some with a few roles under their belt. And it was basically them returning to this summer camp, get it ready for the kids that will be coming shortly, but then they start dying off, and then they're trying to figure out who the killer is, and it's just a whole night of hijinks, and then the killer's revealed at the end. And it was unique. It was interesting. I love seeing young actors and creatives come together to put on a production and put it on, like, create something. So I'll give it that. Moving on. The next movie I saw in April was The Amateur on April 10th. This was with Rami Malek and Lawrence Fishburne. And this was basically him trying to get revenge for his wife's killing. And he's like a CIA techie operative guy. And then once his wife gets killed in this like terrorist attack, whatever, and the CIA or whoever he works for isn't trying to really help him, he's like, okay, I'm gonna do it myself. So then he starts hunting down the people, but he's doing it with all his, not really hand-to-hand combat, but with his CIA prowess and stuff like that. I thought the concept was interesting. Rami Malek's performance was Rami Malek-y, if that makes sense. I liked it for what it was. I liked it for what it was. I feel like I'm gonna come off as such a bitch because like 80% of these movies I'm like but there are movies that I did like and did enjoy watching last year, I promise. But yeah, this movie, it was it was good for what it was. Ooh, on April 17th, I watched the movie of 2025, if I do say so myself, and hopefully an Oscar contender. I watched Sinners! Sinners, baby, Sinners. I lied to you, Sammy. Come on, stop playing. 5 stars, 10 out of 10. Chef's Kiss, Michael B. Jordan, Wumi Masaku, Haley Steinfeld, Miles Canton, Omar Benson Miller, Jamie Lawson, Lee Jun Lee, Delroy Lindo, Jack O'Connell, Rennick, of course, but he was also in Eden Lake as a teenager, and he was causing some havoc in that fucking movie. Now, Sinners, I'm not going to go into what it's about. You know, black people, vampires, music through time, and just Chef's Kiss. I like that the movie didn't have a happy ending, so to speak. Like, you know, sometimes you think, oh, like the bad guys are going to be defeated and everyone's going to be able to go home, and not with this movie. So I did like that angle a bit. Smoke and Stack and all their shenanigans and the implications of letting Mary re-enter their life and her racial identity and the power of music and the Irish vampires trying to kind of take over black culture and or kind of reintegrate that into their own life and their own. Oh my gosh, it's just, there's so much I could say about this movie, and I think I actually ended up watching this like 2 or 3 more times. Sometimes I go see a movie by myself first because I don't have time to wait for anyone to go see a movie, and then I'll end up seeing it again with family and friends and other people that want to see it when they're ready. Yeah, Sinners, 10 out of 10, hands down one of my favorite movies of the year. There's a few movies that are coming up towards the end of the year that kinda give Sinners a little bit of competition in terms of my top movies of the year, but this is definitely top 5, if not number 1. But after I watched Sinners, I went from one theater to another to watch Drop. Now that was a movie where this single mom was trying to go back on the town again. She left her son at home with the babysitter, and she was going to this restaurant in the sky, in this high-rise restaurant, whatever. And then she gets a phone call basically saying that she needs to kill her date. And then she's like, oh my God, what do I do? So then the whole night is basically her trying to get out of having to kill her date, but also like, why is she being tasked with killing her date? What's the date got going on and stuff? And then people come to like her house, and then now the son's at risk, and there's just a whole lot going on. And at one point, like the whole high-rise starts collapsing, and she's about to fall off the damn side of the window. I said, what type of craziness is this? I love seeing a movie in a restaurant environment as someone who used to work in a restaurant, to just kind of seeing that aspect of it, and just trying to get the mystery solved of like, why does this lady need to kill her date? And yeah, I love the premise. I love the setting of it. It was a little honky, a little ridiculous at times, but it was a cute movie. Yeah, I liked it. The last movie I saw that day to end my triple feature with Sinners and Drop was Warfare. Now, Warfare was the one that had the pretty young male actor led cast with a lot of people that you might recognize. But yeah, it was basically, the movie was just depicting army units in a Middle Eastern country, basically surveilling a house and then eventually getting trapped there when the bad guys come and circle the house or whatever, and them trying to get out and them losing their troop members. And I cannot speak of military terms. But it was a very cool, tense movie because it felt like so real in the way they're depicting it, in terms of the way they're communicating with each other. It wasn't a one-take movie, but it felt like a one-take movie at times. The way the actors portraying these military officials moved as a unit and just trying to get out and not being able to get out, and the reinforcements not coming, and the gruesomeness of it. We definitely saw a lot of gruesomeness, bloody, people with no legs blown to bits, and people dying, and spittle, and it was a lot, and it definitely depicted warfare well. So that was a good movie to end my triple feature that day. But out of the 3, obviously I'd have to say Sinners was number 1, but I think Warfare was a close number 2, followed by Drop. On into May, I saw Thunderbolts. It's another Marvel movie. Now this one I did like a little bit more than the other Marvel movie that I watched this year, which is Captain America: Brave New World. I liked the idea of feeling lost in life and depression and social anxiety and isolation and all those things manifest. And I liked how it kind of showed up in this movie. And I liked that the guy that kind of ended up being the villain, I forgot the name of the character, how at first we didn't know what his deal was because he was just fine in the lab when all the Thunderbolts were there and they're all tasked with killing each other, and then how that kind of transpired. Yeah, I liked how they kind of came together in the end to try to stop him, and they were kind of successful. And they kind of renamed the movie at the end the New Avengers or some shit like these. Now, I need my superheroes to have some magic somewhere on the team. Like X-Men, you got Storm with the weather manipulation, Jean Grey's the psychic abilities and shit like that. None of these people have any type of like magical abilities to have guns and Fist, and I'm like, it's just blah. I'm like, no. That's why I like the villain in this one, because he was, he was kind of like evil Superman, like with the super strength and the speed and all that stuff. And all of them were just getting their ass whipped. I was like, please, you guys are not like, Thunderbolts, Thunderbolts. But I liked Florence Pugh's performance in it. I always laugh at that gif of her after she had blown up the science building and she's on the street talking on the phone, and then the building's explosion goes off. She turns and looks at it, and it goes back to her conversation. The next movie I saw was The Accountant 2 with Ben Affleck and Anna Kendrick, and this time I think John Bernthal joined the cast as Ben Affleck's brother. The first one was good. This one I barely even remember, if I'm being honest, but it just kind of continues with the events of the first one. And yeah, a lot of action and fun, and I liked the representation of Ben Affleck's character. I believe he was on the autism spectrum, so kind of seeing how he uses those abilities and that identity and using it in this career field that he's in, so to speak, was cool. I think people that have autism or are on the spectrum, they do have special abilities, almost superpower-like in certain ways, and the way that this movie depicted him tapping into that was really cool. So yeah, that counts. Okay, moving all the way to the end of the month of May. I don't know what I was doing in May. It's summertime. I must have been busy because I only saw 2 movies this month in theaters. It was a double feature. The first one was Friendship, starring Tim Robinson. I believe he created it, and he might have, or wrote it. He might have directed it too. I think he's some type of sketch comedy guy or something on HBO or something. I'm not too familiar with him. This was my introduction to him. I liked this movie. I thought it was very quirky, very unique, very interesting. The hijinks that this character was getting into, trying to pursue this friendship with this guy played by Paul Rudd, and then obviously his family life at home with his wife played by Kate Mara, and then the guy from Shazam, Jack Dylan Grazer. Lighthearted comedy. I wouldn't say lighthearted, but it was definitely a comedy of sorts, and I thought it was interesting, especially the way it ended. Oh my god! Now that I'm thinking about this one might deserve a rewatch, because I'm thinking about the ending now, and it was actually very, very good. So very interesting. So yeah, shout out to you, Tim Robinson. The other movie I watched in conjunction with Friendship was Final Destination Bloodlines. This one I was looking forward to. Also just being a fan of the Final Destination series. I think the first 3 were like top 3 chef's kiss. This one just did not do it for me, if I'm being honest. The CGI just looked really off for some reason. The kills were just not, they were like, okay. I liked how they tried to connect it, and they had some ways that they connected certain characters to the earlier movies in the franchise. But overall, this one just didn't do it for me. I didn't really like the characters, the performances, and yeah. Overall, this one just was no. Moving on. Moving on to June. Now, June summer is in full effect at this point. I think I saw like 8 or 9 movies in June. They're not lying when they say the summer movie season is in full effect and come summertime. So June, I was at the movie theater every other day. But starting off the month, I saw Ballerina with Ana de Armas. It was kind of in the world of the John Wick movies with Keanu Reeves, and I liked this one a lot. I liked, and it also had Angelica Houston, who I remember from she was the spoil in the Daddy Daycare movie with Eddie Murphy, which is a throwback. Oh my god, throwback movie! But that was one of my movies back in the day. I think I had it on VHS, so I used to watch it all the time. Y'all know what VHS is? It's already aging myself. But yeah, so shout out to Ballerina with Ana de Armas. I really liked her in this movie, and as I was watching the movie, I was like, where have I seen a similar action-y performance from her before? And she was in one of the James Bond movies briefly. I was like, I really like this actress and her character in that movie, and so it's cool to kind of see her now kind of doing something similar, but having her whole movie to expand and kind of live in this world. So I thought this movie was really good and interesting, and I like the cold Arctic element of it and the final backdrop of like Russia. And I think in this movie they were using like flamethrower missiles at the end as part of the fight sequence, and it was a good movie. It was another cool installment in the John Wick franchise. I don't even know how to talk about this next movie without getting traumatic flashbacks to the use of a knife and teeth and a big belly. But the next movie I saw was June 8th, and it was Bring Her Back, starring Sally Hawkins of Shape of Water fame. I love that movie, Oscar award winning. And I'm just gonna say this movie is a horror thriller, and it is about a grieving mother. And that's all I'm gonna say about it. If you need to know any more, one of my favorite YouTube reactors here on YouTube chooses, I think that's how I pronounce it. He did a reaction to it. So go watch his reaction to it. But yeah, it's about a grieving mother and the lengths that she will go to try to bring her back. A lot of great child performances. Like all 3 child actors in this movie clocked in for work and they knew what they had to do to give a stellar performances, each and every single one of them. And I just did not know where the story was going to go until like it finally all came together. And I'm still traumatized to even think about this movie, but it is a good movie. It's not like jump scare scary. It's just more cringe, cover your eyes, bloody scary, if that makes sense. Grotesque scary. But again, not jump scare scary and not like demonic scary. Well, a little demonic scary, but it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. I definitely wanted Sally Hawkins' character to pay for her crimes by the end of this movie. And I did not think her being a grieving mother gave her any excuse for anything that she did in this movie, because you're just going to have to find another way to grieve and heal. But yeah, bring her back. Oh, yeah, I think this might have been in my top movies of the year. Because next, I did a double feature on June 12th. The first movie of that double feature was The Materialist with Dakota Fanning, Chris Evans, and Pedro Pascal. Now, this one was interesting. I like the concept of like trying to find love in the city and past loves and new loves. And do you go with your ex who's a poor struggling actor, or do you go with this new guy, this new suitor who's rich but he's short? I think that was what her disqualifying factor was. After they were seeing each other for a while, and then it's revealed that he had like a leg heightening surgery or something to make himself a little bit taller, and that was a deal breaker for her, if I'm not mistaken. Someone correct me, but I think that's why they broke up. I'm sure along with other things, but in my memory, it seems like why they broke up. And she chose to go back to her broke, struggling actor of an ex who their issues never seem to actually have been resolved. But it was Chris Evans, so I'm sure she's like, okay, sure, we'll just suffer together if I get to be with you. But this is a very interesting movie. Oh, and then Dakota Johnson's character is a matchmaker. So she's like going around trying to bring people together. But overall, I thought it was an interesting movie in terms of what I was saying about the dating landscape in 2025 or just present day and overall. There was this one scene when there was this bride that was panicking about getting married to her husband, and so the bridesmaid came to get Dakota Johnson. So she was like leading the rest of the brides to the bride, and the cinematography of that shot and the way that they were all outfitted, it was just, that was like one of the things I remember, and I was like, cinema. So shout out to Materialist. The other movie I saw for my double feature that day was How to Train Your Dragon, the live action remake. Yeah, it was a live action shot for shot remake of the beautiful trilogy that is How to Train Your Dragon. I did reactions to each of those movies on my channel. That was my first time watching it when I did it for the channel, and Chef's Kiss, the second one, was my favorite out of the three, if I do say so myself. So if they do a live action of that one, I will be there to see it. But this one didn't really do anything for me. It was just kind of, the one thing I will say was the music, but that's music. Like the music, hearing the yeah, so that score, seeing it again, hearing it in a theater, because I never saw the How to Train Your Dragon movies in theaters when they first came out. So seeing it and hearing it in the theater was very like, oh my god, momentous. But that's all I can give the movie overall. Oh, and then I will also say the way they did Toothless, it was Chef's Kiss. Yeah, like they did a good job with bringing Toothless to life via CGI and whatever else they used. I will give them that. The score and Toothless. Nothing else. The next movie I saw was on June 16th, right in the middle of June, and was The Life of Chuck. And this one basically just follows the character of Chuck from childhood to adulthood. And it was interesting because we were getting the narration of Chuck's life and then just seeing it play out. And Chuck is played by Tom Hiddleston as an adult, but it's also played by Jacob Tremblay when he was a kid. I like this movie, and this is one of those movies that I need to see it again to fully appreciate, but I liked what it was trying to tell. I like what it was trying to do, and I like the way that it did it. And I just need to see it again, but I did like what I saw, and I remember it. I'm remembering it finally now that I'm thinking back on it. So that's all I gotta say. But Life of Chuck, yeah. On June 24th, I did another double feature, 28 years later. I thought the kid actor in this one was really good. Obviously, he's going through some father-son stuff when he found out his father's cheating, or just not the father he thought he was. And the mother, played by Jodie Comer, she's sick with possibly cancer, and this is like a dystopian zombie apocalypse world, so it's hard to find treatment for that. So the son takes it upon himself to take him and his mom to see this alleged doctor who lives on the zombie side of the world or whatever, and adventure and chaos ensues. Yeah, I like this movie, and I liked, like I said, the kids' performance, and just, yeah, I thought it was an interesting movie. The zombies were not playing. This is this type of zombie world where there's some like super fast, strong zombies, and then there's like the regular zombies. But I think most of them were pretty fast and threatening. And there was just like one like megalodon zombie, and they had his damn swinging, and I was like, oh my god. Now the other movie I saw, and which is the complete opposite end of this movie, was Elio. Elio, Disney's animated feature for this year, and I liked it a lot. I like this story of a kid that felt like he doesn't belong. He lost his parents in some type of accident because it's this, they always gotta lose their parents. So he lives with his aunt who doesn't feel like she knows what she's doing when it comes to raising Elio, because he just rambunctious kid who again doesn't feel like he belongs, so he gets into trouble a lot. So Elio ends up getting sucked away into this alien world or whatever, and he makes friends there and hijinks ensue. But I liked the messaging of this story. I thought it was very sweet, and yeah, I liked it. The last movie I saw in June was Megan 2.0. Now, this movie, I feel like it just completely jumped the shark from where we came with Megan. Megan felt very grounded. It was very comedic, very funny. It had action in it, but it's just the silliness of seeing Megan sit next to Katie's bed and singing Bulletproof by Sia. And in this movie, we got obviously like the AI element, and now Megan's fighting this other AI creation, because at the end of the last movie, the guy downloaded Megan's file, so he went and used it to create something else, and now they're fighting, and Megan has to be brought back to life to kind of stop that and protect Katie, and too much of a good thing. Moving on to July, I actually saw this on the 4th of July. I saw Jurassic World Rebirth. Again! This movie was more of the same, I feel like, for the Jurassic World franchise. The one thing that I would say that really annoyed me about this movie was the B-plot storyline with that family, that somehow the stupid ass dad decides to take his 2 daughters on some type of boating trip before school around where the dinosaurs were in the sea, and then they get capsized and taken over, and then they have to be rescued by this dino hunting people with Scarlett Johansson and company. And then it just becomes a whole thing of like trying to save them and make sure that they're safe or whatever. That whole storyline, I just wanted them to throw it the fuck out. Like, who watched this and gave the green light on that whole storyline? Because I just thought it was stupid. I would have just preferred to spend more time with Mahershala Ali's character, Scarlett Johansson's character, and Jonathan Bailey's character, and that whole thing. I did not think the scientist guy or the rich benefactor guy was wrong at all. We're trying to get rid of that girl. We're not trying to, but not helping her when she's calling out for help, because she was trying to call the damn police and blow up their whole mission, which is a money-making mission, because she's just annoying. So, like, he did not help her, which is about to fall inside the boat. Like, what do you want me to do? So, yeah, but this movie was interesting. So I did like seeing Jonathan Bailey as a quirky little scientist guy. So that was cool. But yeah, that B-plot storyline with the family just really, because it made the movie longer than it had to be. Like, take that whole shit out. You could save 30 minutes. Next movie I saw was on July 11th, and it was F01 with Brad Pitt and Damson Idris. I actually like this one a lot. Seeing this in theaters was like chef's kiss, just hearing the sound of the fast cars and the score, and just seeing the races blown up like that was really cool. The story was pretty by the numbers in terms of like a aging race car driver legend versus the new cocky young thing, and Damson Idris' character, and them kind of butting heads, and eventually coming together to win the race for the team or whatever. But I thought it was cool. There were definitely some moments where I was like, oh shit, when certain things happened. But yeah, I liked seeing the behind the scenes of F1 and the teams that are built around the drivers in terms of the logistics of how fast they need to go and where they make these sharp turns, and the car mechanics and everything about this movie. It was really cool. It was a good movie. And I liked obviously the uniforms that they were wearing, the all white, and the cars, and it was good. I actually like this one a lot now that I'm thinking about it. I liked it. The next 2 movies are both superhero movies, and I liked one more than the other. The first one was Superman. On July 22nd, I saw that one, and I did not like it. No.
Oh my God, corny, lame, boo, tomato, I'm throwing.
Crypto was cool. This one just didn't do much for me. Even from the trailer, I just knew I was gonna like this one, and then when I sat down to watch it, I just didn't like it. The whole end speech that he was giving Lex Luthor about him not being an alien but also being human and the good in people, I was like, oh my God. I was like, Lex, shut the fuck up. I don't know. I didn't really care for it that much. The next movie I saw was another superhero movie of the year, with Fantastic Four, The Rise of the First Four, or whatever, what is it called? The Fantastic Four, The First Steps. I liked this one I didn't think it was much better than Superman, but I just liked the mother-son relationship and her kind of going the extra distance to try to protect her son. I thought it was cool. Like, she was using all her strength to keep Galactus back from her baby. It almost killed her. We got a little fake meout where we thought she died, but she came back to life. I said, damn, my mother's love. So shout out to Vanessa Kirby. Oh, I did like Julia Garner as the Silver Surfer, and her whole back storyline and all that stuff. So I thought that was cool. There are certain elements of the movie that I thought were cool, basically. But overall, I just thought it was Reed Richards' character, who was supposed to be Pedro Pascal, he did not give Reed Richards to me. We'll see where their story continues in the next Marvel franchise movie. Okay, the next movie was I Know What You Did Last Summer. Now, this was a sequel to the original movie. I will say I never saw the second I Know What You Did Last Summer with Brandy. So when she showed up at the end, I was like, oh shit. But this one was cool. This was interesting. I thought the villain reveal was also interesting. That's all I gotta really say about it. Okay, the first movie I saw to kick off the month of August also featured Julia Garner. Weapons. Oh, weapons, weapons, weapons. This is definitely one of the top movies of the year for me. I love the different point of views, seeing all the different characters, kind of seeing how all the stories connected. I really liked it a lot. Obviously, the big mystery of trying to figure out what happened to these freaking kids. I love the whole opening of the kind of all the kids disappeared and what happened, and then we see that the one boy, Alex, played by Gary Christopher, I thought he did a great job being the lone kid out who's having to suffer in silence, and it made me think of it. You never know what a child is going through, especially like kids of this age. Like, he was dealing with his parents being kidnapped and tortured by his evil aunt and not being able to say a freaking thing, but having to go to school every day and put on a brave face, go get groceries, bring it back, feed not only the parents but also damn kids that were stuffed in his basement. James the druggie, he was a highlight for me. I think his comedic time was great. His mannerisms, his facial quirk, just everything about him was great. I think he was the only actor that has stayed with this movie since its inception, and I think because it starts and stops with production, everyone else that was originally cast had to drop out. So it's cool that he was able to stick with this movie and give this performance, because it was definitely a highlight for me seeing his performance. Lots of laughs in the theaters both times I went to go see this one. And also you have Aunt Gladys, played by Amy Madigan, who is now in the running for some awards. I thought she was a great, quirky, evil character in her own right, and just really cool as well. And yeah, Josh Brolin is in it, Benedict Wong, and a full cast of characters. Even Justin Long makes an appearance here, which I thought was cool. A little small cameo, because this guy that directed this also directed Barbarian, which is one of my favorite movies of whichever year it came out in. But yeah, I really enjoyed Weapons a lot, and I like the story. And the ending, it wasn't really, it wasn't really a happy ending. Like I said, I'm not opposed to a happy ending, but I like when movies sometimes don't have a happy cute button type of ending, and this movie definitely did not have that. But it definitely was funny seeing the kids chase down Amy Madigan's character and just tear her to fucking shreds. A little ridiculous, but also a little funny. But poor Alex, poor Alex. Hopefully him and his parents are okay now, but yeah, wasn't looking good for a while. But shout out to Weapons. Now, my Weapons watch was also part of a double feature together. This one had Alison Brie and Dave Franco, and they're a real life couple, or at least they were at the time of this production. And in this movie, it's just relationship issues, and they go camping or some shit, or go hiking, and they end up falling into a damn underground water cave. It consumes some of the damn water down there. Why? I don't know. And next thing you know, shit's happening to them, and it's very body horror-esque, very creepy, very weird, and it's a very interesting movie when it just comes to relationships and what you give and what you get, and being in a relationship, what you sacrifice, and codependency. I think that's a good way to describe this movie. Codependency in relationships and the horrors of it. So I'll leave it there. Moving on to September 2nd, I went to see Jaws in theaters for the first time. They were doing a Jaws 50th anniversary release, so I went to go see that for the first time. I've never seen it before. I said, oh, perfect seat in theaters, like it was intended. And it was really good. It was really good. The way he created the feeling of like panic and a looming threat in the ocean, and the camera point of views and all that stuff. It was a really good movie. Obviously, the townspeople not wanting to listen, and just seeing it play out and all that. I thought it kind of started to drag once they went out to sea to try to hunt down the damn creature. I didn't like that the crazy shipman that was helping them find the creature ended up getting got. And did the other guy die too? I don't know. Maybe I think the police officer was the one that ended up being alive at the end. But it was an interesting. It was a cool movie. It was cool. I understand why it's a classic. I understand why it's lived in the movie verse for as long as it has. So shout out to Jaws. In addition to Jaws, on September 2nd, I also saw Lurker. Now, this is one of my top movies of the year. It was excellent. It's definitely a smaller indie movie, or I don't know if it's indie or independent, whatever, but it definitely felt smaller in scale, but it was so good. And sometimes those are my favorite movies, honestly. It's basically about a fan turned friend of a celebrity, and hijinks ensue. I'm going to leave it there. Go watch this for yourself. If there's any movie out of the movies that I've said that I want to recommend to you, Obviously, you have the big ones like Sinners and Weapons that everyone's talking about, but this is one of those smaller movies that I personally want to recommend you go watch and come back to talk with me about in the comments. I'm gonna leave it there. Lurker, really good, really, really good. Next movie I saw was Honey Don't. This one was interesting. You get to see Chris Evans playing a pastor, but also doing some very sexually suggestive things. And it was kind of like an investigation, murder, mystery of sorts. And I thought it was interesting the way Honey was click-clacking around this damn town trying to solve the case. So it was a cool movie. Next, I did a triple feature on September 22nd. I saw 3 movies because I'm crazy. The first one was Twinless. Dylan O'Brien is grieving the loss of his twin, so he goes to a support group for people who have lost their twin. And James Sweeney's character of Dennis happens to be there, and yes, friendship is formed and hijinks ensue. I know I said that for all movies, hijinks ensue, but that's really what it was. And I'm going to leave it there because this is another one of my top movies of the year, and it was just a very interesting LGBT movie of sorts. And in this movie, I believe a clip came out when the movie was airing at one of the festivals of Dylan O'Brien and Dennis's character, Boykin. So that kind of made people really interested to see the movie, of course. Now, whether it's right to release parts of the film online before it actually comes out, I don't know. But did it help people see it? I'm sure. But seeing that scene in context was like, oh, interesting. But overall, I really liked this movie a lot. I really liked it a lot. Next movie I saw was A History of Sound. Now, this had Paul Mescal and the other guy. I was on a little LGBT for this triple feature between Twinless and then now The History of Sound with Paul Mescal and Josh O'Connor. It was basically about these two musicians in a period piece of sorts. I don't know if period piece is the right term for this time period. 2 young men during World War I set out to record the lives, voices, and music of their American countrymen. Okay, now that doesn't sound that very interesting, and it wasn't super interesting. But it was okay. I feel like the ending it was a little sad. The ending was definitely sad. And it also kind of made you think you never really know someone. You think you know someone, but you never really do. But it definitely was like one of those like looking back on your love and your relationships of when you were younger and just, yeah, we'll leave it there. But I feel like this is now Josh O'Connor's like 3rd or 4th film where he's played someone LGBT, and Paul Mescal's, this is his like 2nd or 3rd film where he's played someone LGBT. We're moving on.
You win with your gay stuff. That's what you want, right? To win.
The last movie I saw in this triple feature was The Long Walk. This wasn't good. There was some good performances in it, but overall, the plot, the story, some of the acting performances were very Mark Hamill. I don't know what the hell he was doing here as a commander. It just became very repetitive. Once the long walk started, I was like, okay, you're walking for miles on end. Once you stop, you get killed. So then people were getting shot left and right, and they're just dying in gruesome ways. This one guy started having a seizure, shot. This one guy had to shit. He didn't get shot because he had to stop to shit, but that was not nasty seeing him have to shit as he continued walking. People were just getting fatigued and getting shot left and right. We got a little bit of backstory for some of the boys, but overall, it was just like that. So I did a double feature, and I watched him, and I watched Eleanor the Great. Him had some cool visuals. Obviously, he's talking about football and what you'll do to be great. This one, I was like, what the fuck are you even trying to say here? Like, I was trying to have a commentary on the NFL, but not trying to do too much because, NFL is a big money-making machine and it has a lot of power behind it. So it was like just kind of skirting around certain things and then just throwing in crazy shots and crazy things happening without having any substance to it. So overall, just like, okay, sure. Cool final visual set piece, but overall, it was just okay, sure. The other movie I saw, which I liked more, was Eleanor the Great. And it's so interesting because if you're thinking about the 2 movies, him and seeing the press run for that and the publicity and all that stuff for him versus Eleanor the Great, I'm sure you have not even heard of the movie Eleanor the Great. Like, I'm positive. If you've seen Eleanor the Great, let me know down below in the comments because I'm sure I had heard about the movie. I think I was just looking for something else to watch that day, and that movie was in theaters, so I saw it. And I really, really enjoyed it. June Squibb is a generational talent. I think she's on Broadway right now and she's in her 80s. But she was really good in this movie. It basically is telling the story about an elderly woman who lives with her best friend of many, many years, who was a Holocaust survivor. But this movie was also directed by Scarlett Johansson. But the best friend of many years, the Jewish Holocaust survivor, she ends up passing away. So June Squibb now decides to move back to New York to live with her daughter and her son. Her daughter and her grandson. Obviously now June Squibb is very lonely, having to live without her best friend of many years. Her husband died a long time ago. So she ends up finding her way into this Holocaust support group. And hijinks ensue. And I thought the movie kind of wrapped in a very nice and neat way. And I liked it a lot. This was definitely one. I think this is in my top movies of the year. And you'll be able to see my top movies of the year over on my Letterboxd, which I'll link in the comments. Okay, next movie I saw is an Oscar contender. It's winning all the awards right now. Critics' Choice, Golden Globes. Hopefully not the Oscars. It was one battle after another. I saw this one in IMAX at AMC Lincoln Square. If you know that movie theater, you are familiar with the IMAX. It's one of those true IMAX screens. It is big as shit. And I didn't really care for this movie. I thought it had some cool sequences. I did like some performances. I thought Sean Penn's performance was really good. Leonardo, he had some funny comedic moments. It's cool seeing President Fitz here from Scandal with Tony Goldwyn portraying someone that fits his character type. I'm not going to go into the plot of this movie. I'm moving on. I don't have much to say about the movie. Watching it, I thought the pacing was good I think it was almost 3 hours, if not 3 hours. I thought the pacing was good. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. There's been a lot of discourse about this movie, especially now that Teyana Taylor has won the Golden Globe. And we'll see what happens at the Oscars. But this movie, between one battle after another and Sinners, I feel like one will stand the test of time and one will be looked back on like really, really. So we're moving on. I only saw one movie the entire month of October, which is hard to believe, but that was Dwayne Johnson's The Smashing Machine. I thought it was okay. There's certain things that didn't really make sense to me in terms of like what his struggles were and then seeing him struggling and then not. I thought Emily Blunt's performance was great for what she was given in terms of the script. Hood white girl, so to speak. And I don't know, I liked her outfits and she was the highlight of the movie for me overall, but I don't know. This movie just didn't do much for me. Moving on to November, I got to see Anniversary, which I feel like came and went really quickly. And I feel like, I don't know. I think I saw this with my friend and we were like, is it intentional that this movie didn't really have a lot of promotion or any press around it or publicity? Because when you're like watching the movie in the context of what the movie's about and seeing how it plays out, it's definitely dealing with some fascism. It's definitely dealing with the media and conservatism or liberalism. I can't speak. Blame it on my sickness. But just it's dealing with a lot of stuff that feels like true to present day. So I'm like, why didn't this movie get pushed to the forefront to be released? Or how did it get made? And then why is it getting released now? And why is it not getting a lot of attention? I don't know. Not saying it was the best movie in the world or whatever, but it was definitely interesting seeing how some of the plot lines played out or whatever. Dylan O'Brien's in this. The girl from Bridgerton season 1 is in this. Phoebe Denver. If you want a more quieter movie, but definitely that has some political intrigue to it, and I'm like, what is happening here? This is the movie for you. Next up in November, I did a double feature of Begonia. I love that name so much, Begonia. I'm not even remembering what that meant in the movie. It's one of those movies you're watching. It's like, is she an alien? Is she not an alien? No, this guy, she surely can't be an alien. This guy's fucking crazy. And you just have to see it play out and all the things that happen to Jesse Plemons' brother or cousin or whoever was helping him. And just overall, like, the craziness and then what she convinces Jesse Plemons' character to do to help his mom and how that goes. Oh my god, just Begonia. And this is directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. I like Poor Things a lot too. So between this one and Poor Things, I'm definitely starting to become more of a Yorgos Lanthimos fan. Another great collaboration between the two of them, and I liked it a lot. Jesse Plemons is a great actor. I love him in anything that he does. He's definitely moving up there in terms of like my top favorite actors that I'm seeing working right now. The other movie that I saw in addition to Begonia was Shelby Oaks. I was very frustrated with this movie. My Letterboxd goes into more detail about this. But the main character, the girl that was looking for her sister, she was just frustrating the fuck out of me with some of her decisions. That ending pissed me off even more with the things like, girl, do you see what is happening in front of you? Why would you want to keep this fucking baby? Are you dumb? And that's why they try to throw the whole grieving, not able to have a child of her own in the beginning. I see the beats of this movie and it just didn't work for me. And it definitely just pissed me off by the end. And I feel like that's a lot of the case a lot of times with horror movies, like, because you're just so annoyed about characters doing stupid things. But this one just definitely felt like very annoying. It was an interesting movie. It had an interesting concept. It definitely had different elements of different horror movies in terms of like the Blair Witch Project, Rosemary's Baby a little bit, and some other things. So yeah, we'll leave it there. But between the two of those movies, I thought that Begonia was definitely the winner. Moving on, I saw Wicked for good, for bad. I did not enjoy this at all. I thought the musical numbers were just not executed the way that they should have been for Act 2, which is already a challenge. Like, and a lot of people that go to Broadway a lot, I wish I could turn my camera so you could see the stack of playbills that I have as someone that goes to Broadway a lot. Act 2 is always hard to pull off because you have less time, you have to wrap up all the storylines. Thank goodness it's not the top of everyone's favorite songs when it comes to Wicked, but it is for me. And I feel like it was not done well. No good deal with all the damn CGI and the flashbacks. I think they put some flashbacks in there. I'm like, what are we doing here? As long as you're mine, Alpha Bus with your Rio's character and the damn wool shawl. I was like, girl, take that fucking off and show your fucking negligee and get sexy. Like, that's the whole point of this motherfucking song. I was like, that just felt weird. So just thinking about this overall, I don't want to get mad. And don't get me started with Michelle Yeoh. Madam Warful. Okay, we're moving on. Wasn't a fan of Wicked for good. It's kind of sad that it went out on a whimper. And seeing this part 2, I was like, damn, maybe they should have just made it all one movie, made it one really good movie as opposed to splitting into parts. Because now you're always gonna have the part 1 that was great, and then you're like, oh, we're just gonna forget about the part 2 and just say and there was Defying Gravity, which is not how you should think of a musical movie. What do you think about Hairspray in Chicago, which I haven't seen the movie for, but I've seen it on Broadway? What other Dreamgirls? Like those are epic movie musical productions, and then you have Wicked, which is good, and then Wicked for good is like, we're gonna forget about that. So last movie I saw to close out November was Predator Badlands. I thought this was good. This was good. I think it starred Elle Fanning. Was it Dakota Fanning? No, Elle Fanning. I think it was Elle Fanning. She's playing like this AI robot that was kind of like split in half and left on its wasteland. And then this Predator who was kind of forsaken by his father for not being a bad, evil predator killer like his brother. I thought it was cool. I liked living in this world for a little bit. I haven't seen all the Predator movies or Alien movies or whatever, but I thought this installment was cool. It had a good amount of action, a good amount of like lightheartedness and comedy. I liked it. Shout out to Predator. Oh my gosh, we have reached December, the last month of 2025. I feel so bad because I'm going to speed through these because I really did not think this video was going to be that long. I was really trying to make a cute 30-minute video. And you know me, I just be yapping. Like, so I'm going to definitely keep this in mind for next time, to how to try to keep it cute and concise. Or is it because I've seen so many movies? I don't know. Partly is me yapping, partly is because I've seen so many movies. But we're here at December, the final few movies that I watched to close out the year in theaters. Thanks so much for watching this. If you watched this all the way to the end, thanks. Like, let me know down below in the comments if you watched to the end, because I don't know how you did it. But I appreciate you nonetheless. Okay, yeah, so I watched Hamlet December 11th, and when I say Jessie Buckley, the actress that you are, the kids that surrounded Jessie Buckley's character of Agnes, the actress that you are, Paul Mescal, the actor that you are. When I say, baby, I was crying, I was tearing up. I said, if this is grief, if this is loss, this is love. I said, oh my God. When I saw that final scene, Jacob Jupe from The Quiet Place, the actor that you are, playing Hamlet. I said, when the crowd surrounded the stage and embraced the death of Hamlet, I said, oh my God, this is what he was trying, I can't even speak about this movie properly, but I'm just going to say, great performance all around. The story of grief, love. I
can't. Get out.
Some kid actors, and I mean like under 10, like they be fucking killing it. Every time I'm like, oh my God, to be a child and have that childlike imagination to be able to portray such beautiful characters is just chef's kiss. Because the actor that played Hamlet, he was great, sacrificing himself for his sister. I'm kind of spoiling things a little bit, but yeah, just amazing work. Now, I will say Hamlet is the other movie that I'm like, if this won Best Picture at the Oscars, I would not be mad at it over Sinners. I saw a triple feature on December 29th. I saw No Other Choice. Now, this is starring the guy from Squid Games, the game maker guy. Now, this is about him basically losing his job at a printing factory, a paper factory, a printing factory or something, and the lens that he would go to try to gain employment to support his family, and shit just happens in this movie. They're just like, what is happening? And I think there's a little bit of a cultural disconnect for me in terms of like the comedy of this movie, just it being not an American film or whatever, so there's certain jokes that I missed out on. But I still really did enjoy it. The visuals were great. The way the story progressed was great. Seeing how things unraveled were great. And this is nominated for a lot of Best International Film Awards, so I think it's going to be definitely an awards contender. And I liked it, but out of the other 3 movies I saw this day, this was at the bottom for me. The next movie I saw that day was The Testament of Ann Lee with Amanda Seyfried. Baby, the Quakers, the Shakers, they were moving and the grooving in the name of the Lord. I love going into movies not knowing a thing about it. I did not know anything about this movie. This movie just fit perfectly into my slot between No Other Choice and Marty Supreme. I said, perfect, let's go see The Testament of Ann Lee. And at first I was watching, I was like, what is this movie about? You know, they were speaking in a certain dialogue. I was like, I'm not really going to be able to understand this movie all. But then I settled in. I was taken in by the cinematography, the choreography, the voice, the music. Is because it's a movie musical of sorts. And just as soon as I saw Amanda Seyfried's character of Ann Lee and the way she was portraying herself, I said, oh my gosh, she would have made a great Glenda. And I believe she said, or she came out and said that she auditioned for the role. I said, not that Ariana Grande wasn't good. I said, if Ariana wasn't able to do it, Amanda Seyfried would have made a great choice. But this was just such a great movie. I loved being able to learn some history about the Quakers, or this religious sect that started off in the UK and eventually came to the Americas, and just them trying to build their church up from the ground up, and the powers that be there trying to stop them, and their perseverance through it all. I thought the ship scene of them trying to cross from one country to another was great and powerful. Obviously, the religious aspect of it was really cool to see, and just seeing Ann Lee's perseverance in trying to lead the charge as a woman, but as a spiritual woman, and just being kind of like stopped along the way by her damn husband of all people, because she was not doing things that the husband wanted her to do. This movie is really good. This is definitely one of my top movies of the year. Okay, moving on to Marty Supreme with Timmy C. We started the year with Timmy C and we're ending the year with Timmy C. Marty Supreme, familiar with them from Good Times and Uncut Gems. Now, Good Times will still remain the top one for me, and that one started Robert Pattinson, of course, but this one was definitely good as well. Hijinks, bad decisions by characters that are a little unsavory, a little not pleasant, and just chaos ensues. I did really appreciate Marty's character, his aspiration for greatness, and knowing that he's talented and wanting to do whatever it took to get there, no matter the people that try to sabotage him, whether it's his mother, his grandpa, his uncle, whatever. Like he said, I am good at this tabletop tennis, and I want to be the best, and I want to be treated as the best. Now, can that come out a little cocky, a little hubris? Yeah, sure, but like when he went to his first meet internationally and he saw that they were living in these like crowded bunk beds, he went to the coordinator and said, this is unacceptable. I need my rest. I need to be able to be focused for these games. I'm bringing all this money for this damn competition. I need to stay where you're staying at the damn Four Seasons. Now, did the guy take care of kindly to that? No, but I appreciate the chutzpah to be able to even do something like that. Yeah, overall, just the hijinks that happened in this movie were just crazy. The way that it played out at the end was a little interesting with that final scene, but I thought overall I just really liked the performance. I wouldn't be mad if Timmy won some awards for this movie because he did a really good job. I really, really liked his performance of this, and I like the story of it. So yeah, the last movie I saw to close out the year was December 29th. Oh, I saw 4 movies. Oh my gosh, this was a quadruple feature. This is the first time I've ever done this, y'all. Okay, I totally forgot. This is my quadruple feature I did to end the year. Y'all know I need to give myself some flowers for being a crazy person. So I did a quadruple feature on this day. So December 29th, which was just like a few weeks ago, I saw 4 movies in a row with a little break in between for lunch.
Stop it. Get some help.
Yeah, so No Other Choice at 9:45. Then I saw The Testament of Ann Lee at 12:30. Then I went and got lunch and a coffee. Then I came back and saw Marty Supreme at 4:30. And then at that point, I was pretty much done. I was tired. But I was like, do I have one more movie in me? I'm already here. Like, let's just close out the year. And it was between watching The Housemaid with Sydney Sweeney and another Amanda Seyfried movie, or the 3-hour Avatar movie. And I was like, 2 hours, 3 hours. Well, what's an hour difference? So I closed out the year by watching Avatar, Fire and Ash like a fucking nutter. So oh my God. That's besides the point. The last movie I saw to close out the year was Avatar, Fire and Ash, and I don't have much for it. It's more the same. The visuals are cool. Woo! The visuals were cool. The graphics were cool. But this just felt like a continuation of the second one, Way of Water. Not a lot of time is passing between the two of them. I thought the new Fire Lady was cool. I thought her and the army guy getting together was interesting. Oh, Spider's annoying as ever. The fact that now he's able to breathe without needing the mask, and like AOY embraced him. AOY, let me get on your ass for a motherfucking second, because your ass. Why does she always wait till the last fucking minute to help her people? I have never understood. Why does the one that's connected to AOY, why does she have to beg and plead and fight her way through all the damn branches and vines and needs the help of her younger sister and Spider to get to you before you decide to help? I said, are you fucking, like, what is wrong with her? Like, do you want to see your planet destroyed? Like, Avatar, the first one, that movie is my favorite out of the 3 so far. And when I tell you, anytime those army people came and destroyed the forest and all that stuff, and they're all running, that gets me every time, because it's just on such a wide scale devastation and all the crying and the running and the killing and all that stuff. And I'm like, AWA just literally sat back and just watched it happen, like, oh, it's beyond me. So she's just picking and choosing when she wants to help her planet and her people. I'm like, girl, what's good with you? So she pisses me off. And yeah, I'm trying to even remember how this movie ended, and I don't even remember, because it was just long and drawn out and just more of the same. And the damn Toucan wills and all their piercings and decorative stuff, and then them not letting certain people back into the community because they were violating it. Just nonsense. Just nonsense. That was all the movies I saw in theaters in 2025. I think when I tallied up, it's like 50 plus movies, maybe 60. A lot of movies. I'm excited to see more movies in the new year of 2026. I might be doing a monthly what I watch in theaters, so that way we don't get a long ass video like this one again come the end of 2026. But I did like just looking back on my movie watching history of 2025. Again, thanks for watching this. If you did, I don't expect a lot of people to watch it, but in this new year, I'm just gonna start putting videos up on the channel that interest me. And again, this idea just came to me in the shower like 2 hours ago, and I said, oh, why not? So yeah, so stay tuned for more videos on this channel, whether it's movie reactions, movie commentaries, movie TV show discussions, pop culture, or whatever the fuck, I don't know. But leave a like, comment down below. I'm gonna leave my Letterboxd down below in the comments, and I'll put it on the screen here if you want to see what I'm watching in 2026 and going forward. But until next time, be well, bye.